What up? Mike D from According to Hip Hop. Make sure you hit that subscribe button on the According to Hip Hop channel on YouTube. Hit the bell icon so you know when we're going live. We're here for another top 5. Today I'm gonna do top 5 Kanye West albums, AKA Ye. Number 5, we're gonna go 808s and Heartbreaks. 808s and Heartbreaks was an album that kind of just took away from the rap side of what Kanye was doing at the time. And at the time, I was kind of like, not really feeling where he's coming from with this, but time told that this actually might have been the most impactful album of the generation moving forward. Everybody from Drake to the lane that Kendrick Lamar ended up taking up, that space that he took up, 808s and Heartbreaks is actually the album to thank for that. Number 4, Late Registration. Now personally, I had Late Registration higher than that. I know Coop's gonna kill me for putting it this low, but I had to be objective here, and Late Registration's an incredible album. You could see how Kanye's lyrical ability just elevated from the first album to the next. The production elevated with the help of John Bryan, and you have one of his most successful solo singles, Gold Digger. Gold Digger was a big record. It was an incredible record from the sense of he was giving his whole personality. I always say, if you listen to Gold Digger, you hear everything that Kanye's about. From the wittiness on the track to his ability to actually carry a track, a hit single, and have content at the same time. Not to mention Diamonds, which was epic. Epic original release. I personally like the original Diamonds better than the remix. But Late Registration, incredible effort. And if you're an artist that has an album like that at your number 4, that just speaks to the strength of your catalog altogether. Number 3. Now this was tough, because I personally like Late Registration more than Graduation, but Graduation has to have that number 3 spot. Graduation was so impactful for its era, and for a lot of people, Graduation's number 1. That was Kanye's Superstar album, where he took on this whole album pretty much as an MC on his own. Now he had a feature with Wayne on Barry Bonds, which was a great feature that did a lot of things for Wayne moving forward as well. And you also had Mos Def on Hot Girl, Drunken Hot Girls. But when you look at the big songs on there, it's all Ye. Can't Tell Me Nothing is an anthem to this day. It was an anthem then. And if you listen to the words on Can't Tell Me Nothing, you can't be surprised by anything that Kanye or Ye is currently doing in the hip hop stratosphere. Not to mention the Graduation went head up with 50 Cent, who was the titan at the time when it came to record sales in hip hop. And he literally sold 1 million records in that first week. Now imagine if he wasn't even paired up with 50 for that first week. He probably would have did 1.5. So Graduation's my number 3. Number 2, My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. For a lot of people, that's number 1. For a lot of people, that is the best album of the 2010s. But again, speaking to the strength of this man's catalog, an album like that could easily be a number 1 for pretty much anybody in hip hop. My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy opened that lane for that next generation of hip hop. Nicki Minaj has a breakout moment on that album. Rick Ross has a breakout moment on that album. Pusha T as a soloist has a breakout moment on that album. You get 2 Jay-Z verses, you get a Sci-Hi verse that was a breakout moment for him as well. Kid Cudi on there, Raekwon on there, and the production stellar. Power, man, a single like that, from the message to the sonics, it's unbeatable. So yeah, My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy is still, to this day, probably one of the best produced hip hop albums. You look at the visuals that came along with it, and that's my number 2. My number 1 Kanye West album is The College Dropout. Some would say that's a nostalgic pick. I found it very interesting that when we talk to many of our people in the public, some people put other albums ahead of it from the technical aspect of it, but The College Dropout is the most soulful album that Kanye West has ever put out. You could tell that the album was from the gut, from the heart. It was everything that he experienced coming up through his path in the industry as a producer. You really hear his personality come out there. Even if his technical, lyrical abilities just aren't at the level that they are on the other effort, you could tell that you get that whole scope of what he is and who he is. And you got records like Slow Jam, and you got records like All Falls Down, and you got Jesus Walks, and you got Through the Wire, which I feel like is one of the most balls out first singles ever in hip hop. The man was rapping with his mouth wired shut. He didn't even sound like himself, and the fact that he was able to take a risk like that and make it work, it's amazing. Then you got records that are the foundation of the album, like 2 Word. Then you got, it's just so much on that album, and it feels like you really know the guy after you listen to it. And you got an outro that I feel like is one of the best outros ever in hip hop, basically telling you his whole story. So the fact that The College Dropout can't be duplicated, that makes that a #1 for me. And that's my Kanye West top 5 albums. To recap, number 5, we got 808s and Heartbreaks. Number 4, you got Late Registration. And I hated to say it like that because I love Late Registration. Number 3, you got Graduation. Number 2, we got My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. And number 1, you got The College Dropout. That's my top 5 Kanye West albums. Make sure you like and subscribe to According to Hip Hop's YouTube channel. Like I always say, click that bell icon just so you know when me and Cooper going live. Tune in for the next top 5. We out of here.